It's early in the morning, and you see this girl completely terrified asking for help, screaming that she's being followed. What would you do? Would you open the door for her? Would you help her in any way? Security cameras were created to protect us. Their presence in our homes gives us safety. But just like the clip that I just showed you, sometimes these cameras serve no purpose other than to be witnesses of the most terrible and inexplicable events that you can imagine. From that girl asking for help, to a strange man who defies all our understanding, and even huge shadows that if you saw on the camera of your house, it would completely shake you. That's just the tip of the iceberg of what you will learn about in this collection. So hold on to whatever you have next to you, because it's coming strong. My name is Leonore Clay, and this is The Darkest Secret. Today we present 7 scariest moments caught on security cameras. Number 7. Imagine being at home in complete solitude when suddenly you begin to hear the voice of a young woman screaming for help outside of your home. You hear banging on the door and her desperate cries for help. You look at the camera and find this girl in a very vulnerable situation, implying that she was running away from someone. Would you help her? Be honest. In your mental image, did you help her? Did you open the door for her? Well, let me tell you that if you open the door, hidden from the camera's view, 5 thieves would have jumped out and stolen everything from you. This person was not a helpless woman, nor was she being chased. This woman had an extensive police record whose methods of stealing basically consisted of demonstrating fragility in front of the cameras so that they would open the door for her. It was at that moment that the victim was approached by 5 of her henchmen who waited outside, entered the house to steal whatever was in their reach. Dozens fell victims to this disastrous deception, taking advantage of the goodwill and natural instinct of human beings to help, fooled by evil disguised as vulnerability. As I always say, sometimes reality is much scarier than the paranormal. Ghosts can hurt you, but if you let them, humans will do it without hesitation. Number 6. The following is the shocking story of a woman who to this day cannot believe what was recorded on her home security camera. She swears there is no editing whatsoever in what she claims is the recording of a man with an impossible attribute.
Okay, so this is what I happened to find on my security camera. If you keep watching on the road, you'll see a headless pedestrian. Not sure if it's a ghost, not sure what. It's just extremely crazy. So I figured I'd share it with you guys. There it goes, walking down the road. And this also isn't the only sighting and then disappears, and the camera is still rolling.
Without a doubt, it is quite strange, but there is also the possibility that it is a pixelation error. Could this be possible? Can the lack of pixels hide the entire man's skull? The woman assures that in addition, the camera stops recording. This type of camera stops recording only when the sensor stops detecting movement. That means that a few seconds ago, the camera was no longer detecting any movement, as if this man had never existed. Outside of that, how do you explain the existence of this person? Leave it in the comments. Number 5. The woman you see on the screen came home with her young son like any other day. Distracted, she walked up the stairs while talking on the phone, without realizing that an intimidating threat was following her. This video is a living example that you should always be aware of your surroundings. Although we do not have natural predators, it is the same human race who sometimes becomes our worst enemy. Watch this video and judge for yourself. Only when she arrived at the door of her home did she realize the situation, putting her neighbor on alert. A stalker came just meters away from them, and who knows with what intentions. However, unfortunately for him, he decided to abort his dark plans and left. Why was he following her? What did he have in mind? Imagine that this happened at night, and that the neighbor had not existed. Imagine that instead of an old man, this had been a younger and faster man. Perhaps the story would have taken a horrifying turn. More proof showing how careful we must be when out on the street, because you never know when you can run into people like this. Number 4. Surely you still remember it. This has been the most popular UFO video in recent times. But today I bring you improved images that actually show what this thing apparently was. Information so surprising that it will blow your mind. You see, in previous chapters we saw the shocking recording of an unidentified flying object. Recordings taken by the security camera of a military installation, from an aerial vehicle to be more exact. The particular thing about this video was its strange shape, which closely resembled that of a jellyfish, an object captured a few years back, but only came to light a few weeks ago. What do you think that is? As I told you on that occasion, the object could only be observed in the infrared spectrum. It traveled at high speeds without being able to be reached even with military weapons, because the functions to detect the target were deactivated. They tried to track it by land, but the night vision technology could not detect it. It was invisible to them. Only thermal lenses reflected its shape. An object that, although it is novel, has been seen in hundreds of places around the world. Like this object, which was mistaken for having the shape of a man. or when we saw those dogs barking directly at a strange object that descended from the sky. Now, the novelty lies in a new publication of this video, with a higher quality resolution, which makes it clear that beyond being a device of unknown origin and looking at it closely, it seems to be an organic entity. Pay attention. The reprocessed images suggest that it seems to change its temperature at will, but without a doubt, in something that has not been noticed before. When looking closely, you will notice that it has a head that at times manages to move. Do you see it? If it really were organic, it means that these things can walk around alone without feeling the least bit threatened. Doesn't that seem worrying? Could we be in the presence of a being and not a device as we initially believed? Could it be something out of this world? Tell me what you think. Number 3. In the pub, the Eclipse Inn in the English town of Winchester, there is a bar that recently managed to get a very bad reputation. It turns out that a couple of videos have been published where you can see how the glasses explode in front of customers, or how they fall from the tables without explanation. This news was followed by comments from many customers and workers who indeed agreed that something strange is happening here. And luckily, they were recorded by security cameras. If you have surprising paranormal material like this and want it to be presented on the channel, do not hesitate to send it to the email that you now see on the screen, or as a direct message to my official networks. Without further ado, let's continue. If this happens once, it could be attributable to coincidences, temperatures, or whatever, but for that to happen so many times, that's already strange. It not only happens to customers, but also to the owners of the venue themselves. This is so frequent that it is no longer normal. As incredible as it may sound, the administrator says that there are several incidents that occur here week after week, as if an entity that inhabits this place did not like the presence of people, making it noticeable in this disturbing way. What are these inexplicable events due to? Could they correspond to situations of a paranormal nature? Let me know what you think. Number 2. I warn you that the following images will be blurred due to how disturbing they are, but they help us to understand that paranormal situations can even be deadly. The image shows a mother with her son trying to get their belongings from a locker, a common situation that from one moment to the next became tragic. Observe. Suddenly, the locker seems to be propelled by an invisible force that falls on a mother and her son. What were the chances that without greater aggressiveness, this very strong object would lose its balance in this way? Don't you think it's strange? In China, where it was recorded, They believe that this was due to a paranormal phenomena. There was no way for this to just fall on its own. Could it have been a ghost that triggered this unfortunate accident? Leave it in the comments. Number 1. We conclude this video with footage sent by a subscriber who until recently declared himself skeptical. However, he confesses that his skepticism has been questioned since his surveillance camera captured the presence of a strange figure peeking inside his house. Everything was recorded on the disturbing clip that you will see below. Observe. In his email, he says to be completely terrified, since until now, he does not know what that thing that the camera captured in the background is. A dark figure that at first he believed to be a thief. However, he assures that nothing was taken from his house. What is strange here is that if you look closely, he seems to have quite an abnormal height, as if he were someone extremely tall, who even bends down to be seen by the camera. Our subscriber talks about someone with mental illness who entered his home, but looking at the images, could it really be a person who's caught on camera? Or do you think it's something else? Let me know what you think in the comment box, as this video has come to an end. My name is Leonore Clay, and this was The Darkest Secret.